Hi guys, this is Pranjal. Welcome back to my YouTube channel again. So everyone is talking about AI right now. I'm in Bangalore for came here for an event, and everyone is literally talking about Agentic AI, right? But I see a lot of people who are still building demos or side projects, right? So I wanted to talk to you, about GrowthPro, right, where we are actually building agents that are that have to keep running reliably and autonomously round the clock for real users, right? It's effect, and it's because it's real business, right? So in this video, just wanted to share whatever learnings that we've had, the tech stack, the decisions that we took along the way for while building our agents here at GrowthPro. Okay, so let me start with the definition first, right? So what exactly is an AI agent, right? I see a lot of people getting this wrong, right? So an AI agent is not a chatbot, right? It's not a prompt. It's not even a workflow, right? What exactly is an AI agent is a system that perceives its environment. It makes decisions based on a goal. It takes actions using tools, and it has to do all of this in a loop you know, without you having to prompt itself, right? So here's a diagram which I've shown above, right? So the word autonomous is doing a lot of work here, right? Autonomous means the agent keeps running even when you're not watching over it, right? It handles unexpected inputs throughout the day, right? 24/7, right? And that's a completely different engineering problem to solve than building a chatbot, right? And at GrowthPro, we needed agents, for example, that could monitor a Google's business profile every day, benchmark it against competitors, respond to new reviews within minutes, and it should surface ranked action items without human inputs, right? Every one of these tasks requires the agent to perceive the new data, make a judgment call, and take an action in a loop autonomously, right? So now let's look at how we built it and what broke along the way. The first decision you make when building an AI agent is architecture, and this decision determines everything that follows. So we tried two approaches, right? I'm showing you both approaches here. First approach was LangChain based microservices. We started here because most people recommend LangChain. LangChain gives you all the pre-built abstractions for chains, tooling, memory, right? It feels fast to start, but here's what happens in production, right? So debugging is a nightmare. When anytime anything broke, I couldn't tell if this was the LLM, the chain, the tool, or LangChain itself, right? Version updates broke things silently. LangChain moves very fast, and backward compatibility is inconsistency. Latency was unpredictable, right? Abstraction layer added overhead we couldn't control. So after 3 months, we made a decision to rip it out and pivot, right? So here's what we did. We moved to native AI agents. We rebuilt everything from scratch, direct API calls to the model, custom tool definitions, our own memory and state management, which is shown above. This was harder to start, dramatically better in production, right? We had full visibility into every step. We can log and debug exactly what the model decided and why it did so. The latency was predictable, and we owned the failures as we wanted. So the lesson here was frameworks are great for prototyping, but for production, agents that run autonomously at scale, you want to own the stack, right? This is one of the most important decisions we made, and I don't see many people talking about it, to be honest. Now let's talk about one of the hardest problems in production agents, right? So once the architecture is right, you hit three problems that no tutorial prepares you for, right? The first problem is reliability at scale. A demo agent fails gracefully. Production agents need to handle a lot of edge cases, right? Like API rate limits for third-party APIs, malformed or missing data from real-world sources, model outputs that don't match your expected format, right? So above here, I'm showing some of the error handling code structure that we had. So our fix was that every agent is wrapped in a retry layer with exponential backoff. Every model output goes through a validation step before it triggers any downstream action. If validation fails, the agent flags it for human approval instead of silently producing garbage. Right? Now, the second problem was memory and context. Our agents need to remember things across runs, right? A review response agent needs to know that this customer complained last month. An SEO agent needs to know that what actions were taken last week, so it doesn't recommend the same things again, right? So now here I'm showing the memory architecture that we used. We split memory into two layers: short term, in context, cleared after each run, and long term, stored in a database, retrieved via semantic search when relevant. Now this sounds obvious, but getting it right in production took us around 6 weeks, right? The third problem that I wanted to talk about was knowing when not to act, right? So this is something that no one talks about, right? So an autonomous agent that acts on everything is dangerous, right? Our review response agent needs to know when a review requires a human, a legal compliant, a seriously safety issue, or an angry customer that needs real empathy, right? So we have a confidence scoring output shown above. So we built a confidence scoring system. Below a certain threshold, the agent doesn't act. It flags for review, right? Above the threshold, it acts autonomously, right? So turning that threshold was one of the most nuanced things we've done. If it's too low, the agent flags everything and humans are overwhelmed. If it's too high, the agent acts on things it shouldn't. And we are still, in the process of fine-tuning this confidence scoring process. Now, if I were to start from scratch today, so these are the things that I do differently, right? So the first thing would be to start native, not with a framework like LangChain, right? Second would be to build your eval system before building the agent, right? So we need ways to measure if the agent is doing the right thing before we can let it run autonomously. Third thing would be to design for failures, the edge cases first, right? The happy path is usually easy, but what the agent does when data is missing or the API is down or the model returns unexpected output, right? These are the things that we need to handle first. Then the fourth thing would be talk to users, right? Earlier in the journey, right? We spent about 4-5 weeks building, an audit report that local business owners didn't really, wanted to read, right? So, one conversation with a few business owners would have saved us a lot of time, right? So definitely talking to users, earlier in the journey is very, very important, right? So most important thing I've learned building agents is that intelligence is easy, the reliability is hard, right? Anyone can make an agent that works once, but making it work tens and thousands of times in a row is the actual engineering problem that we need to solve, right? So next episode will be showing, or we'll be talking about an actual review response agent probably, and we'll do a walkthrough. So subscribe to this video so you don't miss it, right? So just one question before you go: are you building AI agents right now? And which business are you focusing, or who are your clients? So you can drop it in comments. I want to know the problems that you're running into, right? Because next few episodes are going to go into the exact problems, right? We'll go deep into the exact problems. So yeah, subscribe, comment on this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Thanks for watching.